Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. A couple of quick updates. Thank you so much for those of you who said hi and came out to get autographs or tokens in MagicCon Minneapolis. That was an absolute blast. I loved seeing you. I am exhausted after coming back from that trip, but it was absolutely amazing. Number two, I'm not putting up sound panels yet. I got some recommendations to wait and see till I got more stuff in the room to see if that kind of got everything out. So I'm kind of working on filling up the background with more stuff, and we're going to see if that fixes that. And if it doesn't, around the beginning of June, I'll start working with sound panels. Okay, with that out of the way, let's take a look at today's deck list. So I got an email from Cal who wanted me to put together a deck list built around a battle. We recently tried out a battle in Death's Shadow, and it was bad. It was really, really bad. It just didn't work out. And so when I was originally emailing Cal, we were looking at Invasion of Ikoria, because this is a way to go and fetch a Vampire Hex Mage. You use it to remove the counters off of this, and then you get an 8/8 reach creature that basically doesn't get blocked. And that was the original plan. And then I was going through the Legacy Challenge results from the weekend, and I saw that there were two copies of this Rug Invasions or Rug Dragons deck list in the finishes. And I was like, oh, we should just try this instead. Because I've played lots of Dark Depths on the channel. Dragons? Fewer dragons. So let's start with the battle side. So, when this enters the battlefield, reveal any number of dragon cards from your hand. When you do, Invasion of Tarkir deals X plus 2 damage to any other target, where X is the number of cards revealed this way. So, a lot of the time, this is going to be a 2 mana shock. But if you have a Murktide Regent or another dragon in your hand, it will scale up. So, let's say we have a Murktide in hand. This is 2 mana, 4 damage at sorcery speed. That's kind of whatever, it's okay. But if you attack this thing down, and all of a sudden you get a flying trample, whenever a dragon you control attacks, it deals 2 damage to any target, all of a sudden that starts actually looking pretty good. Like, this is a mythic rare card. Now, I do want to remind you that these things can be lightning bolted, these battles. They can be attacked, they can be targeted with lightning bolts and things of that nature. So, a lot of times you can play like turn 1 Dragon Rage Channeler, turn 2 Invasion of Tarkir, maybe a Bobble in there or something. Turn 3, you could attack your battle, bolt it, and now you have a 4/4 Flying Trampler that dodges opposing lightning bolts. And whenever a dragon attacks, it deals 2 damage to any target, effectively making this 6 damage a turn. And that should more than enough make up for, the 5 damage that you throw away trying to flip the battle. And a lot of times, something like a Tarmogoyf just attacking it might be enough to transform it on its own. So we're going to be playing something that is kind of remotely in the blue-red Delver shell, but, we've got the spice, and that's what the people are here to see, right? Speaking of spice, we have some Minsk and Boo in the sideboard, a crushingly good Brotherhood's End, which notably will not probably kill our Tarmogoyfs or Murktide Regents, leaving us with threats on board while wiping our opponent's threats or destroying their artifacts. This is going to be all around a solid deck list. So, let's see, is this a card that belongs in Legacy, or is all it's going to do is a battle's going to go to the graveyard to grow our Tarmogoyf? Let's see how this shakes out. If you're new here and you like what you see, please consider subscribing. And if you're a regular, throw me a like before this video begins. It super matters right now because my Chain of Smog video from last week flopped hard, and I'm going to have to get out of the algorithm hell that puts me in. All right, let's battle. I think I'm going to keep this. I wish my cantrip was a different cantrip, but I think being on the draw with a Dragon Rage Channeler and a Thought Scour is enough to make this reasonable. What are we doing? Green Sun for Dryad Arbor. I am just going to let that resolve, I think. I've got like lightning bolts and things of that nature that I can draw to take out a Dryad Arbor a little bit later. And is full of fat as of right now. Plus, I'd like to Force of Will the big thing that my opponent is doing, and then get a Surveil. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Alright. No attack from my opponent. I'm in trouble. Alright. Cool. I don't think I can afford to attack here. Like, my opponent doesn't want to attack and trade away the thing, but as soon as I get one land, I want to use this Thought Scour to find a second land. So yeah. I'm going to force a will pretty aggressively here. Yep. I think I want to get rid of the Brazen Borrower, and we're just looking for any land. Yep. So let's go ahead and fetch. This sucks if my opponent has another wasteland, and I just do this. But otherwise, this is going to make my Tarmogoyfs, my Murktide Regents, just very, very, very strong. Sure. No, that's fine. I am super, super punished for this keep. So the plan is just kill my opponent in roughly 3 turns in the air. I think that's the plan. Grab a Trop this time. Thought Scour, target myself, and basically everything is just going into the yard here. I just need to try to flip these things. Fail. I have 2 card types in graveyard despite having 10 cards in graveyard. F. So it feels like I just lose this one. I'll force of will basically whatever my opponent does. I just need to get anything into the graveyard here. A bobble would be a absolutely fantastic draw. Nope. Well, air quotes, the good news is that my opponent does not have any plays. The bad news is that probably means very big dumb things like Minsk and Boo are around the corner. Hey, it's Minsk and Boo. Alright. Force pitch Murktide Regent. Alright, creature to graveyard. Instant to graveyard. That's still only 3 types. Rough. Hey! There we go. Am I trying to draw 2 lands? No? Yeah, well, send those things away. Sack this. Opponent's got an upcoming land. I send in 6. Let's see if this works. These battles costing 2 mana is really rough in situations that look like the one that I'm in now, where I'm just like desperately, desperately trying. Crop rotation? Yep, okay. I'm not beating that Merit Lodge. Already used Brazen Borrower. I'm never gonna easily get to 2 lands. I guess I can do it if I draw a Wasteland. No, they just Wasteland my Wasteland and then go off in response. Alright, I'm gonna move on to the next game. This one's over. Alright, what do I like here? I got Wastelanded out of this game in short order. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the norm, though. I think I want some nice mid-range elements. Smash to Dust is a thing that I could play here to sweep Mana Dorks, but I think I'd rather catch a slightly larger subset of cards. Force of Negation seems medium. Probably going to go down a battle for some of these other cards. And maybe down the Minor Misstep. Minor Misstep's okay versus swords, but a lot of my opponent's other things are going to be larger. Knights, Endurances, Green Suns. There's a turn 2 small Tarmogoyf. It has a sweeper. It's fine. Probably bobble myself and then decide whether or not I want to keep it. I think I'd do that on my opponent's turn to make myself better versus Wasteland. Green Sun based on the timing? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I will just kill that with my battle. Look at the top card of my library. It is a Ponder. I have my turn 2 play. I can't Ponder plus do another thing on turn 3. I think I'll just shuffle accordingly. Take my redraw. Couple brainstorms. That's all fine. Drop. If I had another land, I think I would just hold out for this card. Let's go ahead and play the battle. I don't actually need to reveal a dragon here for that to be a removal spell. There's a wasteland. Sure. Didn't get wastelanded immediately, which is weird. I could Brotherhood's End that creature right now and never let my opponent search up a piece of the Dark Depths combo. I'm fine with this. Let's grab another Volk. And we'll obviously do the 3 damage mode. Technically, my opponent could wasteland their own Taiga if they really, really, really wanted this Elvish Reclaimer, but, wow. I will absolutely take 3 mana, destroy 2 lands. 100%. 100%. Unquestionably. Alright, I will take 3 damage. That is not a problem. Yeah, we will play some dudes. Got 3 card types in graveyard here. I'm threatening a relatively large Tarmogoyf and a Dragon Rage Channeler next turn. Like, once I put an instant, both of these are larger. My opponent probably has at least one piece of removal. If they have multiple, I don't really feel pressured by my opponent's Elvish Reclaimer at this time. They're holding that back intentionally. That's fine. That Murktide can go to the graveyard. Brazen Borrower is really good. Wasteland also really good. Go back, Murktide Regent and Brainstorm. That seems okay. I'm gonna go after the battle here, I think. That's not a problem. My opponent is going to nuke my graveyard, turning this into a 3/3. I will then Petty Theft their blocker back to their hand. They can't currently cast it. I'll leave that Brainstorm on top. Does make fighting over my battle a little worse. We'll drop a new Dragon Rage Channeler. We'll call it a turn. It's not even clear that they do have green mana right now to recast that blocker. Alright, they found it. That's okay. So let's go ahead and cast this Brainstorm. We'll surveil pretty aggressively here. So graveyard with that. That's more interesting. I think I still put it in the graveyard. So I can cast Ponder and Bobble, and then end up in the situation where these are 3/3 attackers. That's fine. I'll just surveil both of these away. Bobble. Graveyard. Graveyard. See what you're gonna draw. You're gonna draw swords. Good to know. Go ahead and do this. Send away a land. I think I'll still send away the land. Under's probably above average, but the cards under it suck. Yeah, Scalding Tarn is whatever. It lets me flip that, or sorry, lets me cast this turn cycle. So let's attack. We overkill this battle a bit. All right. So we cast the backside of this. I do this. Go ahead and fetch a Trop now, and I can cast this end of turn. Don't think I have to wasteland here. Although, does casting Brazen Borrower change my clock? 6. Well, this one probably gets removed. Might not actually change my clock. Let's just take out that land now. I shouldn't have fetched then. Just changed my mind about what I was doing. This is going to be a swords here, I presume. Yep, that's fine. No attack here. Lightning Bolt is perfectly fine. There's 6 damage at my opponent's face. Not expecting anything that makes me need to play this land drop here. I'll just hold that in hand in case I draw another Brainstorm. Now we will see if my opponent has any nonsense lands, the sort of things like Glacial Chasm that really can slow this game down. I'm not worried about something like a Maze of Ith. I'll just power through that. Alright, what do you got? I wonder if that was the appropriate timing for that. I can put 2 into the graveyard pretty easily here. I think I need to. Like, Bolt is very valid as a way to remove my opponent's creatures. I'll consider an end of turn Bolt their face to select for my next draw. Green Sun for 1 is fine. Another Reclaimer. And I think I just go for the Bolt to the Dome here. Don't need you. You're just going to try to grow the others. Don't need you. One goes to 6. We're just looking for some sort of spell to cast here to surveil. Yep, beautiful. So I have creature, instant, sorcery, land. So we're just good to have lethal this turn. Done a few things to the graveyard along the way. Ponder will take a lightning bolt. That's perfectly fine. No shuffle. Fetch. Grab a land. 9 damage in the air. Don't even need the bolt, but have it in case something gets screwy with my opponent's last 2 cards being like green card and endurance. Alright, but that did not happen. I don't know whether or not that battle was good. I guess it removed a card. It removed a Dryad Arbor, and then ate a Swords to Plowshares, so like that's a 2-for-1 right there. But I also threw 6 damage in it, so I literally could have like ended the game a turn earlier. But I guess I should be thinking about this in like Fable of the Mirror Breaker terms rather than tempo terms. Like it's about the value, not the speed. I think I'm just going to resubmit as is. This is a perfectly reasonable hand. Kind of don't want my opponent to have a turn 1 mana dork because I don't want to force it, but like it'll make my days significantly worse. Flagstones. Okay, well, this Swords to Plowshares my opponent has is probably my day's target then. Let's go ahead and fetch. Bulk. Drop Dragon Rage Channeler. Pass turn. Oh, no immediate swords. Nice. See what they have. Almost no matter what it is, I daze it if it's a 2-mana play. Oh yeah, that's fine. It's a little awkward. I'll let that happen though. Bobble is cool. I'm going to go ahead and start here. Land can go to the graveyard. See what my opponent is going to draw. A land. So do I want to brainstorm? I want to brainstorm. Force can go into the bin. I probably want like a secondary threat here. This is interesting for next turn. Wasteland solid as well. I might just throw back my counter spells. I think I am... Well, I could keep days. I just have a use for all of my lands. I go ahead and do this. Fetch another Volk. I'm going to go for the lightning bolt here. My opponent will probably sacrifice their land. Brainstorm can go to bin. Okay, they are sacrificing flagstones. All right, you may have Shroud. I don't think I attack. Take my Bobble card. Not the best thing in the world, but like this plus Wasteland is a reasonable next turn if I end up having to force in this turn cycle. My opponent can turn that into a larger creature instantly because of Sylvan Safekeeper, so I probably do force that. Not the biggest fan of this, but it kind of is what it is. Am I wastelanding? I'm probably wastelanding and playing Invasion as my turn. Just gonna send that to graveyard and start fueling up for a larger Murktide Regent. I might be supposed to keep that one. Okay, that's fine. Makes my turn a little worse though. Daze is cool. Probably don't show them the wasteland this turn. Let's play this, continue to surveil. I'm looking for one more card type to graveyard. A 4/5 Tarmogoyf is really good, but I don't have a creature in here yet, so I will just send the creature into the graveyard so that I can attack for 3 this turn. I reveal no dragons. Send this damage here. Wow, they're going for the Shroud. And I guess I go for this. Alright, down to 2. What is it? They're not loyalty. I'm sure these counters have a name. That is not loyalty. I, however, do not know what this name is. just battling. Absolutely. Alright. Drop this into play. Let's go retrieve a dragon. Alright. We'll go ahead and cast the backside of this. And then let's take a look at my next card. Don't want that. See what my opponent is drawing. It is a crop rotation. I want to wasteland in their upkeep. Murktide Regent is reasonable. I think I'd go for this one. It just cuts them off of 2 colors here, which is kind of huge. Alright, so they're going to go ahead and give their creature Shroud. So they have a crop rotation. I'm going to have to just be cognizant of that. Tarmogoyf and Murktide Regent are both real big right now. Go ahead and attack in with both. Damage to any target. I feel like at this point, I'm just going face. That just drops them to 17, then to 10 in regular combat damage. I think I want the evasive card here. So I leave one instant in the graveyard. A brainstorm. And then I get a huge Murktide Regent. So next turn, this is whenever a dragon you control attacks. So my opponent is effectively at 6 life. This is a bit unfortunate. Huh? They only have one flying blocker. I guess I lose. No, I don't lose to endurance. I just have double days. Yeah, I'm good. Guess I play a pre-combat Tarmogoyf in case that matters, because I can just return my lands to my hand. We attack. Get 2 of these triggers. Send it to the face. Send it to the face. Okay. So days. Turn a land. Okay. Yeah, this was super interesting. Like, this is a weird card to evaluate, but it's pretty strong. Alright, this hand is a great example of how utility lands are not free. We have no colored mana, meaning this is an automatic mulligan. Whereas this hand is quite strong. Oh, this would have been an insane 7. I don't know what to throw back here. I think I'm going to keep it and throw back a Force of Will. A decent portion of the time, I can find a blue card to pair with Dragon Rage Channeler off this bauble. So, like, that's just a thing. Tarmogoyf goes to the yard to grow everything else. Now let's learn what my opponent is playing. Combo. Blue card, blue card, blue card, blue card, blue card. Come on, baby. Uh-oh. Tarmogoyf does not trigger Surveil for Dragon Rage Channeler. I may be in trouble. But, like, my hand puts out so much more pressure if I play Dragon Rage Channeler into Tarmogoyf than if I just play naked Dragon Rage Channeler with no further cantrip. Fuck! That is a Doomsday. My opponent can build a pile that beats a counterspell pretty easily, I think. Alright. So my opponent is running a personal tutor build. Oh, am I dead now? Yeah, I am dead now. This is Cycle Straight Wraith, Crack LED. That's 3 mana, 2 of which is probably going... Oh, nope, we're going to do it differently. Sure. They Consider Pile, and then Thassa's Oracle. Okay, sure. And then Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, so I lost this one because I kept the Tarmogoyf. I don't necessarily think that's wrong. Didn't work out well for me. Alright. Force of Negation is solid. Blasts are okay. Veils are okay. Surgicals may be playable. I think this is more about what don't I want. I don't think I want this here. Like, every point of damage I can send at their life total immediately just absolutely matters. Kind of feels like I'll be cutting a Tarmogoyf. I don't know, I could just, like, whack my opponent for 5. Lightning bolts aren't great pre-Doomsday, but are pretty good post-Doomsday. This is where I just don't have the matchup experience sideboarding with Delver to know what my approaches be. Like, I definitely want this. I'm fine trading 1 for 1 with their cantrips. And, like, these are playable. Don't know that I want them more than other things that I have, though. And Thought Scour is just, like, not the cantrip that I want. If I don't get a land with this, this entire thing is just unplayable. If I do get a land, it's quite good. I can just take out my opponent's initial rituals or counter spells or whatever. Thought Scour kind of feels like a trap. I don't know that this is worth mulliganing. I'm just, like, unhappy about this hand, though. I think this is begrudging keep territory. Like, lands are good, cantrips are good, baubles are fine. I do go with Volk here. Thought Scour, target me. Technically a land, but I'm punished for getting Volk. Like, I think I want Volk, because, like, casting the Red Elemental Blast is pretty important. Not gonna fire off Lightning Bolt at their face. I don't have a reason to do that. Maybe I just can't keep Thought Scour hands. So I had 18 lands. I consider everything in this, minus this that I had in my hands, hits. Yeah, I'm at over half my deck as reasonable hits with at least 2 draws before I start feeling bad about missing. Alright, we're getting movement from the other side. See how big my opponent is going here. Touching all 3. Yes. Yeah, my daze doesn't work here. And Minor Misstep misses Cabal Ritual. Red Elemental Blast misses all of them. That was a pretty fast pile. So notably, Veil of Summer is a thing that's around. I go with an end of turn Lightning Bolt here. Opponent's at 5. Force of Negation's not bad. I believe I Wasteland a blue source here. And we'll kind of see what my opponent's pile looks like. If they try to Street Wraith, I just Lightning Bolt them and they die. I have to be really aggressive as far as finishing them off goes. I think I'm supposed to use this for the sake of mana here, but it's awkward because it lets them know that they can't cycle a Street Wraith. This is awkward. I think I'm supposed to cast it now so that I can make another land drop. Yeah. We'll put back like Tarmogoyf, 1 blast. And then it's just a question of like, do I play out the Dragon Rage Channeler and drop Pyroblast and Minor Misstep, giving my opponent another turn? If I play Dragon Rage Channeler, I just kill them next turn. I drop 2 of my relevant spells. I probably need to try to kill them next turn. It just doesn't feel good. And I just get hyper aggressive with countering basically anything I can counter. That is acceptable. That is acceptable. Cavern of Souls is kind of the big scary thing here. So I just have to say no to that, so that my days can potentially do something. This also lets me surveil. Land goes to the yard. I don't have black mana up right now. There is a Cycling on Edge of Autumn. Cavern of Souls plus Oracle would do it here. F. Okay. Yeah, so that can be countered, so my daze doesn't do anything. If I had held up the extra mana, it also just doesn't do anything. Unfortunate. GG. I feel kind of strangely about this deck. Like, I'm keeping this hand, for example, but if my opponent doesn't play a turn 1 creature, this hand becomes kind of, like, noticeably worse. I mean, I'm keeping it. Like, it's incredibly good versus a creature deck, but this hand would be quite soft versus, you know, say something like Doomsday or Storm or Show and Tell or whatever. Oh no. My opponent's just moving to discard. Just fucking dread. Oh, it's Reanimator. Yet, yeah, this is exactly what I was just talking about, right? If my opponent puts that Grizzlebrand into play, I don't think it's realistic for me to still have both of these cards in hand. Like, I'm just going to lose them to discard. So I think I'm going aggro here and hoping that I can just kill my opponent. Put that into graveyard. I'll reveal a Murktide Regent from my hand. I will send 4 damage at my opponent's dome. I think I am attacking their life total directly here and not going for this battle value. Like, I want to get their life total low so that, like, Grizzlebrand activations become less reliable. Yeah. And this right here is why I didn't save both of these cards in an attempt to deal 7 to a Grizzlebrand. My bolt's down. Oh, are you an Undying Evil deck? No, okay. Alright, there's a Petal. Alright, there's a Reanimate. So notice that since I went aggro on my opponent, they don't get to draw here. Which is cool. Got 1 Brazen Borrower that I could find. This ain't great. Guess I'll grab another drop. And I will nuke my own graveyard to play a relatively small Murktide Regent. It's only a 4/4. But I think I just have to put my opponent in the situation where I try to keep them from drawing cards. out of fear of dying to a lightning bolt or whatever. Alright. How bad's it gonna be? So they're gonna do some actions pre-combat. No new creature in the bin. 2 mana for an Exhume. My opponent gets a Grief. I get nothing. I got my Murktide Regent for free. My opponent wouldn't have done that. Like, that wouldn't have been a reasonable trade. Alright, Grizzlebrand comes in. I eat the 7. I assume my opponent does not draw 7. I am correct. Force of Will is a pretty terrible draw here. Again, I have to ignore my battle. I have to go at my opponent's face and hope that things somehow shake out in my favor, but they just shouldn't. Like, I get attacked for 10. I go to 1. I can't fetch anymore. I'm very unlikely to kill my opponent next turn. Like, they can just be at 17. Alright. Another Grief. Or is this going to be a flashback Faithless Looting? Yeah, flashback Looting. There's an Archon of Cruelty. That's in kind of an awkward spot. If they were to draw 7 right here, they would die to Lightning Bolt. Okay. I'm at 1. My opponent's at 17. I don't think I'm on any outs. Start trying to figure out if I'm wrong somehow. Bobble goes away. Like, I would put back 1, 2 in some order. Lightning Bolt my opponent. It's not doing it. I can't block both of these. I will concede. Yeah, and exactly what I was talking about with this hand happened. Like, I kept a hand that would be very good against, like, a fair creature deck or control deck, and just got absolutely rolled by a combo deck. So, I would like Force of Negation, Surgical, Veil, Cage, Lantern, probably. Pithing Needle, I guess, is technically playable. I'm not super excited about it. I don't really know that I need bolts here. They can do cute things against the Grizzlebrand, but like if I have 6 cards that I am going to bring in, I don't think I need to stay in that direction. How do I feel about these? I just like this is just a 2 to 4 damage burn spell to their face. I'm not super excited about that. I might still play one just as another card type for Tarmogoyf and Dragon Rage Channeler though. Just like kind of weird because it goes to the battlefield rather than going to the graveyard, so it doesn't actually grow them super effectively unless I mill it. I'll keep 1. I'm not really excited about Pithing Needle or Lightning Bolt. This is fine. I will play the Dragon Rage Channeler out on turn 1, dropping Minor Misstep. Oh, hate that. So it's just going to be land drop, pass, turn 2 Dragon Rage Channeler, paying for it unless something else changes. My opponent's going to get this turn of tempo, which they can just use to hard discard something. They are not going that route, though. Alright, what are we doing? Oh, that is so good for me. Holy shit. If I could have asked for my opponent to make that play, I would have. Because now, I can go ahead and Force of Negation, pitching a blue card, pay my 1 for this. This isn't going to get flashback. I've set my opponent back a card, and then I can play Dragon Rage Channeler while having Minor Misstep available for something like an Entomb. Second one here is rough, though. Alright, Archon and Chancellor in the bin. Tarmogoyf is very large, but I just can't play that right now. I am going to play Dragon Rage Channeler and hope that Minor Misstep is good enough as interaction. It's possible that I need to ponder for Force of Will because like the 2 mana things like Exhume are going to beat me here. I'm countering that. I'm just snapping that off to decrease the chances that my opponent can do a 2 mana one. And it'll just suck if they just reanimate. Okay, yep. So they had a 2 mana one, which my Minor Misstep wasn't going to interact with. So now I need to find like Brazen Borrower plus land as my next 2 cards. So let's ponder. None of that's going to do anything. There's a land. I can play out a Bobble. Not crack it immediately so that I don't discard the card to Archon of Cruelty's trigger, but I think this game's over. This is Just an absolute beating here. But yeah, it's basically Brazen Borrower or bust. Even then, I'll do this on myself. Do not want that card, so I'll go ahead and fetch now. Brazen Borrower. Nope. Okay, that's fine. We will concede there. GG's. Before the next round here, I want to thank some of my recent supporters: Pepsi Cola, Jose, Brian B, Rust, Myers, Wynat, Michael, Bobby, Dane, Shaylee, Michael, and Osri. Thank you very much for your support. It means a lot. Enjoy the show. Kind of unimpressed by the opening hands that this deck has. Like, the battle not going to the graveyard for Tarmogoyfs and such feels awkward to me. And okay, this is be quite good. The deck feels mana hungry, so my dazes feel a little worse than normal. That is occurring. Oh wow. Please don't loam. I don't know that I ever beat this. Like, I wasteland the Urza Saga so that I don't die to that. My opponent just replays it. I'm going to have a small Tarmogoyf. I can't wasteland plus Brazen Borrower in the same turn cycle to try to deny my opponent mana. I can't fully take my opponent off of green. I think this one's just over. As sad as that is to say, I'm going to try to brainstorm for Force of Negation. Oh, I don't have that in the main deck. Oh no, I have one. Yeah, I think I'm brainstorming for that, and if I miss, I'm conceding. Sort of unfortunate as that is. I'm just not baiting this Life from Loam. Go back days in a land. Like, I think I should just concede here. Like, Maze of Ith plus Dark Depths plus everything else that Loam finds is... I think this is insurmountable as of turn 1. Yeah, I can't see myself winning this game. Sorry, folks. I'm conceding this one. I probably want Meltdown and Brotherhood's End to deal with tokens. I need a little bit of graveyard hate. I'm relatively light on that, unfortunately. Grafdigger's Cage doesn't stop things the way that I need them stopped here. Need another Force of Negation. So I've got 5 cards. The battles? It's gonna be hard to get through for the battles a decent portion of the time. From there, Lightning Bolt is a little medium. Minor Misstep is going to miss a lot of stuff, but the stuff that it does hit is going to be important. Sure. This is another hand, though, where like I'm just mana hungry. So let's look at the top card of my library here. Let's see if it's a land. It is, so I will draw that. I'll go ahead and cast this and keep the top card of my opponent's library as well. It is a Mox Diamond. So I'm going to have 1 counter. Good God. Did not want 2 of those there. I'm going to have a 2/3 Tarmogoyf that will probably scale up pretty well. Do I force this? I think I force this. Actually, sorry, I want to Force of Will this specifically, because that puts an artifact into graveyard scaling. Fuck off with these Mox Diamonds. Oh my god. What a disaster. I have the Loam too. No, but that's just about as bad. Cool. Now I can't preemptively fetch to thin here. Murktide Regent not looking good right now. Grab a Volk. Play Old Art Tarmogoyf. Pass the turn. I'm okay if this is all my opponent has, but if my opponent starts loaming this stuff back, I am in trouble. Raw Step Wasteland, sure. Presumably they're casting a dazable spell then. Otherwise that timing is a little odd. Sure. We're basically donezo. I'm not going to beat this. This one's worth, I don't know, like, is it just like wasteland me twice? Like, I technically have a clock in play, but wasteland Life from the Loam is going to obliterate me, and my opponent can wasteland a fetch land and then wasteland the follow-up land as well. I also basically have to fetch, or Pithing Needle potentially shuts off this land. But since they dredged, if I fetch, I just get wastelanded. So I guess I don't. Ugh. Alright, take your token. I'm not going to fetch. They're going for another Mox Diamond to get further ahead on mana acceleration. Oh, I'm dodging Life from the Loam Wasteland for a turn. That's nice. Gives me a chance to potentially play another creature. Or find another tempo play. Send in the Goyf. It just feels bad. It just feels bad. So, El Loam, I'll force it. Pitching my Murktide Regent. I already have another threat that I can play. I guess I need to spike a land here. I wonder if my opponent loses this one for making a construct token. If they had just loamed the previous turn, I was in so much worse of a shape. Hey, that's what I need. Hit for 5. Well, this isn't where I thought this turn was going. I have to stop this Maze of Ith from getting into play. Is unfortunately meaning that I don't actually get to play the Tarmogoyf this turn that I was planning on playing, which is real awkward for me. I have to just play this out, right? Did I board out bolts? I'm non-bolts, so I'd probably play this one. Like, do I want to be able to play a top deck bolt or Dragon Rage Channeler, or do I want to be able to play the Tarmogoyf if my opponent does not wasteland me for some reason? And it may be better the other way. Sure. Notably, the Urza Saga leaving the graveyard does shrink the Tarmogoyf. Yep. Yep. Let me get to my main phase with some mana. Damn it. That's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad either. Bash in with this. My opponent probably chump blocks. Yeah, that's fine. And I will just wasteland Urza Saga for tempo-based reasons. Try to limp over the finish line. Yeah, you can float your colorless mana. You're not doing anything with that. Are we dredging? No dredge on Life from the Loam. Second Life from the Loam. So as this game goes along, I'm gonna need to find a lightning bolt probably. Like I can probably get in one last Tarmogoyf hit here, and then that's probably it for me for that stuff. I only have 2 lightning bolts. That is ultimately not great for me. Brings my opponent to 3. I think I will brainstorm now. If I find a bobble, I can get deeper. Put back Tarmogoyf. Anyway, I'll put back Tarmogoyf and Force of Negation, I guess. Doesn't matter, I'm redrawing one of them anyway. I've already made my land drop. So now, basically this game is on my opponent to not fuck it up. Like, I think the win is more or less secured for them, as long as they can continuously knock me off of mana while generating chump blockers, so that Tarmogoyf never gets through. Yeah, and this is the sort of thing that I think does it, because now top deck Lightning Bolt is not going to be a win. And my opponent has access to double wasteland, so as long as they double wasteland my fetch lands, I'm just donezo. I'll crash in with my Tarmogoyf so they don't accrue a creature. Alright. Alright, there's a dredge. Finding Dark Depths. They make a creature. They didn't get needled before, so I don't think they have needle. Kappa. But I don't want to fetch there, because otherwise, like, wasteland just happens. They lock themselves out of playing Life from the Loam here. With Sphere. Might be costly. I get to attack with a 5/6 Tarmogoyf here. Beats out the construct token. So they are going to need a way to get through the next turn cycle. Like they need a creature or Maze of Ith. I think I play out Valk. Pass the turn. Get lucky on this dredge. Cool. I think I'm good. Yeah. That felt awful, but I want it. Like, do I want Pithing Needle for Urza Saga here? Like, is that enough of a problem that I do that? It's really awkward to do that while playing Meltdown and Brotherhood's End, though. It may just be that Daze is unplayable on the draw here. So in its spot, I can play a Needle. I can even put that on Wasteland, although that's awkward. Got targets. Library. This is like unimpressive. I could just play a Mizkaboot or just have another thing that puts the pedal to the metal if I reach the mid game without being wastelanded into oblivion. Sure. I don't really feel good about it though. Fine. Outscour has just felt like a bit of a trap though. Ooh. Is this a ponder turn? I don't think so. I think I just play out the fetch land here. Ponder just sets me up to get wastelanded before I put a Tarmogoyf into play. That was good. Here's annoying. I'll fetch in response to that. Grab Volk. Thought Scour myself. Minor misstep, not what I'm looking for. That's in play. And now my cantrips that are in hand are considerably worse. Tarmogoyf is already a 3. Oh no, I can't play that this turn. I guess I'm pondering. Ugh. Whatever, let's just like work on finding a meltdown or a Brotherhood's End. Yep, that's great. So yeah, well then we'll keep these two. Yeah, yeah. No shuffle. Yeah, like next turn I'll play a decently sized Tarmogoyf. Following turn I'll play Brotherhood's End. Sweep the artifacts out of here. Alright, Saga goes up. Yeah. Fetch. Another Trop. I want to get another Volk, actually, so I can never be wastelanded off of Brotherhood's End. I guess if I get wastelanded, I'm already off of it because of Sphere, though. Yeah. Alright, drop a Goyf. The issue here is that, like, my opponent can kind of pivot towards going towards Dark Depths, and I'm not currently equipped to beat that. Ooh. They're going with copying their Saga here so that they can create one that is more persistent. That'll be good. Slow, but good. It makes my Brotherhood's End plan worse. Now I've got 2 triggers here. They've got the ability to search up with Urza Saga, and then their Thespian Sage Urza Saga is ticking up for the first time now, to the point where it gains a mana ability. And they have stacked these triggers wrong. So they have a Thespian Stage that currently does not produce mana. That is a pretty big punt. Oh, sure, they can shrink my Tarmogoyf. Yeah, that is a really big deal. Turn could get juicier for me if they play like a Mox Diamond. Okay, they're tracking that to draw a card rather than clearing out my graveyard. Yeah, I might not even have to cast the Brotherhood's End immediately now. Like, I might be able to leave that sphere around. Hold up hard cast Force of Negation in the short term. Or alternatively, just ponder, leaving up the 2. That's probably better. Let's do that. Meltdown. These are really good. I think I'm dropping. Oh no, I can't play Murktide this turn because of Sphere. Oh wait, yes I can. Because his Ponder will go to the graveyard. Yeah, this is fine. I'll go ahead and bash in with the Tarmogoyf. And my opponent to 15. And I've got 2 mana for Murktide Regent, and I'll delve 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This shrinks my Tarmogoyf temporarily to a 3/4. Oh. Yeah, and I can't counter back because of Sphere. Okay. That's fine. Like, it's good, but it's fine. Like, the Tarmogoyf is already back to a 5/6, so I basically lost nothing in kind of making that set of interactions. 4 mana. Oak. Cool. That was a rough set of raids for me. So my opponent can now opt to have their Thespian Sage Urza Saga target something else, and then they will keep that land with an ability. I believe you can do that with the trigger on the stack to still search up a thing. I think my opponent gave away some value there. So I am going to be 1 Tarmogoyf hit away from victory, probably for the rest of this game. My opponent has essentially 3 lands perma Rashadan ported to deal with my attacking Tarmogoyf every turn. So that's a thing. And I will be on outs. Like all it will take is me drawing one more land, and then I can just lightning bolt a token and be good. Fuck. I don't think I go for a surgical here. Boo not looking great right now. Now I get mazed, and my opponent gets to start accruing tokens. So instead, it is going to become like a Meltdown or Brotherhood's End situation instead. Or that Minsk and Boo. I'm never, ever, ever casting that. Tarmogoyf is so big. And so unable to rumble in combat. So now I can bolt my opponent's face, or otherwise cast one spell. Attacks don't do me any good anymore. I'll just hold back so I can't get attacked back for 2. Probably have to go after this Taiga after my opponent makes a token here. I just can't give my opponent an Urza Saga token every turn forever. Crop rotation. Oh, okay. I think I'm willing to give up a land to surgically extract Urza Saga. I think I'm willing to do that now. It feels to me like that's the thing that is going to most easily beat me here. So my opponent has Loam. They have 3 Dark Depths. Got Punishing Fire combo. Alright. I think this is going to be a long, awful game where I either win or lose by my opponent timing out now. They're playing very slowly in comparison to my rate of play. So I think that's my path to victory. Alternatively, my opponent fetching to below 3 and I just get to lightning bolt them for the win is another way that could go. But yeah, I'm just like never going to get in via combat damage again between these construct tokens and my opponent playing Thespian Stage and then Haze of Ithing. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Yeah, so like my opponent fetching with this going to 3 and then I get to bolt them is legit. This Wasteland could provide a 1-turn reprieve from a Maze of Ith. Like I could make an attack here and make my opponent chump block, but I think that's worse than just hoping that I can lightning bolt them at some point. I do also just have to worry about like Merit Lodge happening. I'm hoping my opponent just doesn't immediately find a Dark Depths. Alright, there's the maze. Ooh. Wonder if my opponent was actually supposed to play that. Like they could start sending these after my random untapped lands like Wasteland. Okay, cool. Targeting my Wasteland. I mean, I need this Wasteland. So I let you copy that, but then you just Wasteland my Wasteland and just take like a net negative land drop. God. Yep. Yep. Annoying. We have 2 Loams. Is this even worth doing? I guess it's worth doing to see if they mess up and don't Wasteland me. Pay the 1, pitch an expensive card. Like this keeps them from making a couple of land drops. Okay, yeah, they are going for the Wasteland on my Wasteland. Yep, that's all fine. Yeah, this is just fully going to come down to, like, can I time my opponent out? I don't play this here. That's my last red source. Alright, no Dark Depths yet. Yeah, my goal is to, like, play a fetch land, fetch a trop, end of turn, or in my own main phase, and then play Valk so that I can cast a spell. Yep. This is all just going to be on, like, this is my opponent's game to fully win or lose based on their play and a little bit of luck. As much as I want to be able to cast that, I just can't play out Volcanic Island. I should maybe start attacking with Tarmogoyf to make my opponent do more clicks. Yeah, you can Punishing Fire target me all day. Tabernacle's rough. Tabernacle beats me before my opponent times out if they think to play it. Yep. Can't force a negation because of Sphere. At this point, I'm comfortable conceding. Like, it's very clear that my opponent can beat me without timing out now. That's unfortunate. GG's. I lost that one because my opponent had that sequence that was like something into Pyroblast, my Murktide end of turn into Choke. Yeah, so like, if I draw any land, any cantrip, this hand is perfectly reasonable, and if I don't, I just kind of fold to myself, but like, I have such efficient cards, like Double Dragon Rage Channeler backed by Force of Will and Minor Misstep is really good, so I think I keep it still. But I have fewer baubles than a traditional, like, Delver build, and I have more expensive cards. That means, like, every time that I'm looking at one of these one-landers, it's just, like, a little bit painful. Brainstorm's totally fine. I still do just naturally want to draw my land, though. Okay, that's fine. I have a Force of Will here for whatever big dumb spell my opponent is about to cast, but I don't have Force with something else backing it up. That's a Doomsday. I will attempt to force that, pitching the Murktide Regent. I am going to junk that. I would really like to naturally draw a land next turn. Shit. Yeah, so I don't have a secondary land up here to cast this Misstep. I'll probably have to pass my turn, my next turn, with Misstep and Lightning Bolt both available. I don't think I can risk Brainstorm missing a lander up here. My opponent's Doomsday pile is going to be a little hard to build. Like, they have Wasteland to consider, they have Counterspell to consider, Lightning Bolt to consider. Alright, they are on a personal tutor build. My Force of Will is pretty good. With Force of Will here, I might be able to just Brainstorm. Although this is like Force plus Minor Misstep available. Getting the last card type into graveyard to grow this is kind of rough. Unless start casting spells. I'm just going to attack and pass the turn. I think there's too great of a chance that I die if I go for anything here. Yeah, I will just basically throw a counterspell at anything that I can possibly counter here. I will take that. That gives me a pretty good line on my turn of play second Dragon Rage Channeler, Lightning Bolt my opponent's face, and get 2 looks at another card type for the Dragon Rage Channeler to attack for 3. Fuck yeah. That puts my opponent to 5. This attack puts them to 2. Street Wraith is no longer live. I have Force of Will for anything that they draw that they cast. I can still lose to like some Edge of Autumn based lines or something. Yep, but that's not happening. Oh, I would like Force of Negation. I think I played a lot of this stuff, despite the fact that it is awkward. Surgical is a thing that's technically playable as well, I guess. Don't want the battles. Tapping out for Tarmogoyf is kind of scary. I might just need to do it. I don't have Delvers. Brazen Borrower, I guess, is not the best. This gets me Force, Veil, a Blast, as I'm configured now. I wonder if Minsc and Boo is good here. Like, it's slow, but it's a lot of haste damage after a Doomsday that my opponent won't see coming. Probably too slow on the draw. Vertical's weird. If I already have like a Tarmogoyf in play or something sizable like that, shuffling my opponent's Doomsday pile can represent just basically an instant kill. Again, I don't have heuristics for playing, for sideboarding with Delver. I take that over 1 Thought Scour and lose the game for not having a blue card to pitch to Force of Will. I don't like how this looks. This has like 3 pieces of fat here and kind of a risky cantrip. This at least has a hard counter. I think Lightning Bolt goes back here. Yeah, feels like Lightning Bolt goes back. Got turn 1 Dragon Rage Channeler. I have a Force of Negation as my first counterspell attempt. I can play a follow-up Tarmogoyf, and the goal is to just like be far enough ahead on board that I can kill my opponent after they fight over a Doomsday and win. Lightning Bolt came back. Alright, Dragon Rage Channeler. Last turn. See if my opponent has like a Cabal Ritual, Dark Ritual, or Arrow Lotus Petals to get things going. I'm not going to attack something like this. Right, they're just going to pass the turn here. Make this land drop. I'm only getting in for 1. That's okay. I'm positioned okay versus a pass the turn Doomsday line. I'm not super well positioned if my opponent can like play a Doomsday and just continue to try to go off in the same turn. Alright, upkeep, fetch. Basics are good for them, although this configuration means that Thassa's Oracle will be a little bit harder to cast later on. I'm going to let that resolve. Awkward if they have Thoughtseize and Doomsday and another black land. Goldred. Okay. That's fine. It's very good. But I can potentially just beat that with Tarmogoyf. It's going to be a pain in the ass along the way. Don't get me wrong. Ponder off Trop? We've opened the line of Lightning Bolt plus Wasteland, I think. Yeah. I shouldn't have even cast this. Send this into the graveyard. I am willing to keep this. Yeah, I'll take that life. That's fine. We have 3 card types in graveyard. Wasteland doesn't change number of card types. I'm willing to attack with a Tarmogoyf here. Yeah. Alright, so send that in. I was just going to eat that damage. I will go ahead and attack their Underground Sea. I think I just hold this up. My attacks that turn were a little weird due to like Shouldered math. They're at 16 after that draw. Alright. The Tarmogoyf will not grow if I play Lightning Bolt, but Dragon Rage Channeler will. I think I have to hold the Bolt and attempt to trade these two. I've got instant sorcery, creature, land. The next card type is harder. If I Lightning Bolt, though, I can take this land off the top of my library. I'm not going to do that. Okay. So I lose some life. So now I can attack with both of my creatures. Instant going to the graveyard would mean that Dragon Rage Channeler can trade with Sheoldred. I'll just go ahead and send in both creatures. Alright, my opponent does no blocks, so they're just like not gonna endanger this Sheoldred. Which means I probably just fire off a Lightning Bolt at my opponent's face here. That land goes to the graveyard. They go to 13. They take 7, going to 6. I can cast a Ponder. I think this is just better held, at least for a turn cycle. I might be wrong, though. Like, this game might just be about the shoulder. The Doomsday is slow at this point. Yeah, I'm gonna buy that. Let's cast the Ponder. Finding another creature is just quite good here. I'll just throw that in graveyard. Brainstorm is very good. Absolute pain in the ass. Alright, we'll just yield to that. Yep. Nope. Shuffle. That's unfortunate. I'll drop a land and pass. My Tarmogoyf not becoming a larger creature is a huge problem here. Ugh. I don't think I was supposed to Force of Negation this Dark Ritual. Like, Shouldered is a thing that could happen, but more often than not, fuck, it's gonna be Doomsday. I don't think I beat this. Okay, my opponent is now just going in. They're going to try to just kill me, which is reasonable. Yeah. So I will attempt to attack for 7. Opponent will probably just clear the graveyard. Nope. Seems great. Like, they gain 2 life, save on a gajillion damage. Yeah. Take the damage from this here. To 5, my opponent attacks me for 4, I draw a card and die. Yeah, I'll concede I can't beat that Shouldered. This is not good at killing Shouldered. When I'm on the play, do I want this? Or those exact sort of scenarios that I just saw there? I can go down a Tarmogoyf since I know my opponent is playing Relic. It's awkward that so few of my things answer a Shouldered. I could bring the Brazen Borrower back in over another Tarmogoyf or something. Or over a Lightning Bolt. Some amount of things that just hit like a truck. This is not a playable Legacy hand. This is not either. Not how I want this league to end. I'm keeping this. I think these 4 I always keep. Yeah, I think I'm throwing these back like this. Um, I'm down 2 cards. My opponent's on the draw. They get an additional card above that. I think I'm just going to lose. Like, I have no ability to deal with opposing combo. My hand is not going to grow the graveyard enough to deal with a lot of other stuff here. I think I'm trying to shuffle away this Tarmogoyf and find, ooh, I think a second one of those. Okay, that's a real plan, especially if I draw like a Daze or something. Surgical's fine. Put back Tarmogoyf, 1 Ponder, I think. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Play this. Back for 1. When it goes to 19, I have to fetch another Volk here, making future Tarmogoyfs worse. But I have a definite plan. My plan is let Doomsday resolve, kill my opponent after they cast Doomsday. And we'll see if that works. For sure. Uh-huh. Yup. There's like 2 of those in the sideboard, by the way. Sure. So I'm just kind of forced in trying to brute force my way through this. That is a partial plan. I think I just have to throw that into the graveyard to start attacking for 6. In the bin. 2 card types in graveyard. 3 after this. I don't think I can keep this. I don't think I can keep this. Yuck. I could surgically extract something in an attempt to hit a creature, but the things that I extract over there just suck. I might not win this game unless I attack for 6 this turn. Soldier's just so good against what I'm doing. I'm going to thin a land out of my deck before I do this. Every marginal advantage I think matters here. I want to surgically extract a land out of my deck. It's better than going after their petals, I think. Alright. Ponder is an above average draw. Again, I'm just trying to attack for 6 this turn, though. F. Whiffed. I will pull the Scalding Tarns out of my deck. I'll leave the one that's in my graveyard. And I failed on hitting a creature, battle, or planeswalker, or artifact. Yeah, I'm just not going to beat this shouldered. Deck is pretty good at dealing 3 damage to something. 5 damage is very tough. So I'm not going to get Doomsdayed immediately, but I am on such an impressive clock here. Okay. Yeah, like this is what I needed last turn. So I can't actually draw the card with the bauble, right? If I draw the card with the bauble, it's attack plus card draw die. Yeah, I think I'm just fucked. That lets these attack. Yeah, I just get attacked anyway. Alright, I'm dead. I'm out. GG's. Alright, that's it. We've reached the end of the league here. Overall thoughts on the deck list. I think it's quite bad. I think we took a Delver deck that was good and just made it close to strictly worse. Every time that I just have one of these cards in my opening hand, it is just an utter gamble for whether this card is going to be good or just a card that has to be brainstormed away. And to make the Tarmogoyfs and Murktide Regents seem better, it's playing Thought Scour. And Thought Scour is really bad in your opening hand. Like, this just felt so much clunkier than every Delver deck that I've played in the past, like, year. Like, so many of them are just, like, so low to the ground with the baubles, the Delvers, the Dragon Rage Channelers, or even, like, the Sprite Dragons and some other alternative builds. And, while this thing did impressive things in round 1, otherwise, I kind of just felt like this was awkward and a distraction, especially when I was playing versus combo. Like, the combo decks like Doomsday and Reanimator have relevant things that impact their life total negatively. So taking time off to try to flip that often means that you're not pressuring their life total, which is a precious resource, and you just physically can't take that time to get a persistent threat. So this build gets a thumbs down from me. Maybe if we are just closer to a blue-red deck, like we drop the Tarmogoyfs, we play Sprite Dragons, which are another thing that can just attack this more quickly. Another thing that gives you payoff for the backside of this. Maybe it feels better then. But I was just like not impressed by this deck at all in this league. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this one. This one is a little weird. Like, this battle is an appropriate power level for the format. I just think that it feels like I'm working too hard in this deck list, and I'd be willing to try this card again somewhere else. All right, have a great rest of the day. See ya.